Our next guest says you can have the life you've always wanted if you manage yourself like a small business.
Please welcome the author of Me Incorporated, How to Master the Business of Being You, Scott Ventrella. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Jody. Good to be here.
Well, the first piece of advice you have for folks is to have a clear identity. Give me an example of a company that's done that successfully.
I would say that Ritz-Carlton has a very clear identity, and it becomes part of their mission, their vision, their guiding principles. So everything they do, for instance, their vision is really, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. It speaks volumes, and they behave in ways that are very consistent with what they say.
So let's assume you set out with a mission statement about yourself that you want to see the positive in life. You want to live more positively, less negatively. What sorts of changes then should you make for your life to be congruent with that?
A number of things, Ron. Good question, too, by the way. You want to examine some of your own thought processes, how you're reacting to situations. Also, look at your associations. You want to make sure that you're making good decisions, good choices about who you associate with, what you choose to do in your spare time, etc.
Which is part of tip 2, which is conduct an assessment. Look at all those things in your life, and if there's any negativity there, fix it.
That's correct. It's like a self-assessment.
So if I decide that I want to be the Ritz-Carlton of people, seriously, just to continue the metaphor.
I'm feeling more like Motel 8 these days. That's just me.
Ron, we can talk about that.
I'll meet you in the middle. How about a Radisson? Okay. We'll just be a Radisson. How would you put that into effect? I mean, concern yourself with the little things in life. Tell yourself details do make a difference. I'm going to go the extra mile to look better, or whatever that would involve.
Starting with 2 big steps. Number 1, begin with having a clear identity. You know who you are, and think of it as a brand, right? Me Inc., Jody Inc., Ron Inc. How do you express yourself? So start broadly, and then begin to put in some plans. Identify some specific areas where you want to make some improvements, for instance, in your life. It doesn't have to be the big, giant, far-away plans. It can be the very specific things that you can think about today.
Sometimes a little thing makes a difference, like a mint on the pillow.
That's right.
Right?
Right, and perhaps you have
a Bible in the drawer.
Right, and maybe that would be customer service in terms of motels as we continue hotels and motels with this analogy here. But if you have customers like a business, businesses have customers. So to carry the analogy through, if you're trying to run your life like a business, who are your customers?
Everybody. By the way, you start with yourself, right? It's like when you're on the airplane, they say, well, in the event of an oxygen, depressurization, the mask falls down. Who do they say to put it on first? The mask.
Yourself.
If you're traveling with children, they say put the mask on yourself so you can better help others. So we are our own customer. For those people of faith, it could be God, a higher power, and then all those people on a day-to-day basis that we interact with, not just in the workplace, in and outside of the workplace. Think of everybody as a customer because they all have needs, and we want to continuously meet and exceed those needs.
Ron said something jokingly earlier, but maybe there was a kernel of truth in it. You say you were going to fire some friends or lay them off.
Well, it's sort of like, no, really, like sometimes if you assess the people around you, again, carrying through with the analogy, a business will do better if they hire better people who are more qualified or who see things the same way as you do with your mission statement. You could fire your friends. You could give out pink slips. You could be done. You could reorg.
Businesses do that because there are customers that just sap the life out of us and they make life difficult for our employees. Same thing in life. We may want to examine those relationships that we have that we've hung on to, that, you know what, it's probably time. Now, we need to do that very compassionately and in a very humane way, but in a sense, you're right, we only have so much time, and we gather these customers through life. Sometimes we have to say, okay, just taking too much of my time, and we need to move on.
And we're going to go in a different direction, but thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.
That's what you would say. Although I do.
Well, goodbye. Good to be here.
And interestingly enough, that's all we have to say now. Scott Ventrella, thank you for joining us. The book is Me Inc. Very interesting stuff. Log on to myfoxmi.com and click on the Good Day tab for more information.